Hey guys, George at SoundTraxx here. This week we got a really exciting announcement. For those of you who have been using the Blunami Apple app, we got some exciting news for you. Now, some of you may have noticed on one of the latest updates, your Blunami app has turned into the name Blunami Classic. What's that all about? Well, let's get started. Well guys, as it has been coming a long way, we have the Apple app has been updated, and as I mentioned, you'll notice that your existing Blunami app for Apple has been labeled Blunami Classic. This is because this has been the first version of the app that has been released dating back to the beginning of the Blunami when we first announced it in 2022. But we've got some really exciting news. We've got a brand new version of the app available to download right now on the App Store. That is the new Blunami version. So to differentiate between the new version and the old version, the Blunami has been relabeled Blunami Classic. So now when you go in and you search Blunami in your App Store, you should be able to find the actual new Blunami app. Now, you're welcome to download it right now. It's available in the store, so you should be able to download it for free right now. But some of you guys, I'm sure, are questioning, well, what's with the new app? Well, while we've been working on the Android version of the app, our app developers have been working on a version for Apple as well. So these two apps now are identical, other than the OS that's actually operating your screen. And so therefore, when you actually do connect either through an Android or an Apple, you're going to see now virtually the same thing. So when we show off new features for the decoder or in the app, you're going to be able to use either Android or Apple the exact same way. That's really exciting news because there's a lot of great features that are already in the Android version that are now available in the Apple version. Now, for starters, we're going to go ahead and I'm going to run this locomotive here into multi-train. So it does my Blunami Please Wait, where it quickly reads all our CVs to make sure that everything's matched. Now again, as you can see here in the screen, you've got room for 3 throttles. And it looks a little bit different, but for the most part, it's exactly the same as you would expect in the multi-train screen. But first off, you'll notice that there's a color on the throttle here. Now that's a auto detected color, and it just kind of picks it up and assigns a random color, so that way it's easy to differentiate as you cycle through. So you should be able to have no problems with that. But one of the things we want to talk about is function mapping. Now this was something that was completely absent in the Blunami Classic app. You had to still go in and set CVs, but no longer do you have to do that. So from our screen right here, you're going to see, I'm going to go ahead and hit my gear, which is where I'm going to make all my setting adjustments. And here you'll see general settings, sound settings, light settings, speed settings, CV settings. We're going to talk about that in just a moment. But there's my function remap. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. And here's where you can see the full list of all the effects that are mappable and which functions they're assigned to by default. And as you scroll through here, you can see that all of these have numbers assigned to them. Now, if we wanted to assign them, say, to a function or move it, let's say. So one of the common ones that we get a lot of times is if you have the ditch lights on the FX3 and the FX4 light. And what that does, that allows you to do the alternating flashing ditch lights. But a lot of people want them turned on with the same function button. So yes, I have a PA here in front of me. Don't worry about that. That's just to show you what I'm doing. So what I'm going to do here is you can see the FX3 and the FX4 are defaulted on the 24 and the 25 key. So let's say I want to use function 24. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click the FX4 here, and you'll see the chart of all 28 functions, including none, so that way I can assign it to any other button that we want to just by simply clicking. So as we mentioned, we want to set this on 24. So we simply click the 24 and then we hit save. And now you'll see that the FX3 and the FX4 are both turned on with button 24. Now with this method, you can go through and do the same thing, but remember Just like the Tsunami 2, when you remap, it doesn't displace what was originally assigned to the function. So let's say, for argument's sake, I know on my models, I use F8 as the brake. So if I was to go down here and hit the brake, and if I hit F8, and you'll notice I clicked the 8 here on the screen, I hit save, but look right above it where it says mute. You can see that it didn't displace the mute function. So if I wanted to move the mute function somewhere else, then I can certainly do that through the app. But if I don't do it, when I apply the brake, the locomotive is going to go mute as well. So you do want to kind of plan this out. Usually what I'll do is I'll take a piece of paper, write 0 through 28, and I'll write which effect I want to be controlled by which button. Now with the Blunami, you get 0 through 14 accessible first, and then 15 to 28. So the things I want to have immediate access to on a regular basis, I'll usually put in that 0 to 14, and then 15 to 28, I'll usually fill in with things like lights, stuff that I don't do on a regular basis. But for this instance, you can see that our mute and brake are there. So if we wanted to move the mute, we can move the mute to function 19, which is what I do with my personal stuff. But as mentioned, it doesn't displace. So we have to go over here. And as we screen through here, we've got straight to idle assigned to function 19. That's where I usually put that on 11. So it's right next to the straight to 8. Now you can set these up any way you like. So when we come back over here, whoops, went too far. So now what happens when we go back, we actually can see that some of the things have changed, but it didn't auto-populate in this particular case. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and go back, and we're going to disconnect. Now we're going to reconnect. Now when I go into multi-train, it's going to quickly do all the CV read again, and then now you'll notice that the app has been auto-populated. So now when I come in here, you can see that the brake is now labeled the brake. The straight to idle is now on F11. When I come over here to F19, you'll see that mute has been populated. So it's one of those things that it does have to update. But if we want to do something a little bit different, let's say we want to rename the functions. That's also here as well. Now with the old app, you would slide this out a little further. No longer, we actually going to go here to manage function panel. And this is where we can scroll through here. So like function 17, for whatever reason, isn't doing anything. So we can actually come in here and reassign this. I took the name off so it's unassigned, but you'll notice that I put a space there and locked the name. And then what I did is I unchecked toggle, and what that does is that allows it to become momentary because I don't want to turn on a function that doesn't do anything. And you'll basically go through and do this your whole time. But here 24, remember that's where we put the ditch lights. So we want to name this here. We can name this to ditch lights. And then what I want to do is lock the name so that way every time I connect, the decoder is red and the app will auto-populate the function list. This way you can go through and it'll be ditch lights here all the time from now on. So now I'm back in my screen. When I hit my function mapping here, you'll see that the name ditch lights has been populated onto the screen. So you can go through and make all of your adjustments. Now, this is some really cool stuff that we've got added. We're going to go ahead and hit our gear settings. We're going to go to CV settings. And yes, you don't necessarily need CV settings when you're coming and using the Blunami. However, this allows you to do some neat, really cool things with your decoder. For example, you'll see CV backup. What that does is that allows the app to store those CV settings in its memory, so that way you can go on and make further adjustments and decide, well, I don't like that, or I do like that, or I don't remember what I did. You can always restore. So we're going to hit CV backup, and you'll see that the screen here says CV's backed up. When I back out and re-come in, you'll see CV restore is now there. So now I can go in and hit CV restore, and what that's going to do is it's going to flash all of the CVs back to the way it was when I did my last backup. So it gives you some safety net. So as you're making your changes, if you back it up regularly as you go through and make your adjustments, you can always fall back to the last backup and undo stuff you did if it's something you decided you don't like, or if it's something that, let's say for argument's sake, you decided you don't want, or maybe you just don't remember what you did, and so that way you see what got undone. But right now we're going to go ahead and hit cancel. And it'll back up, it'll restore those CVs in a matter of seconds. Now the other thing you notice here is copy CVs to other Loco. Now right now I don't have any other locomotives attached to the Blunami app, but if I had 2 of these PAs, I get one working exactly the way I want, I would hit that on here, copy CVs to other Loco, and then I can simply flash all of these settings into the second Loco. So if you're working on a fleet of locomotives, let's say you got the latest run of Athearn GP38-2s, and you got one set up, but the other 2 are Blunami, you just hit copy CVs to other Locos. In a matter of minutes, you've got 3 locomotives that are perfectly matched, except the address. The app knows that the address is going to be unique to each one, so therefore it doesn't copy all of that over as you go through. So these are some of the cool things about it. Now when it comes to operation, first off, I do want to show you, when we hit the function map, you'll notice that it covers the throttle. If you click here above where it says function 0 to function 14 and then 15 to 28, in other words, the name of the locomotive, you can move it to the other side. So that way it's not covering up your throttle. That way it gives you a little bit of flexibility. But when it comes to running multiple locomotives, this is so much easier and faster. Yes, I only have one locomotive here, but we're going to show you if I hit my chain link, you can see my consist groups are either A, B, C, D, and what that's telling you is the app can talk to up to 4 consists of any number of locomotives in each consist. So if I want to build consist A with 6 locomotives, consist B with 2 locomotives, consist C with 10 locomotives, consist D with 3 locomotives, I can do that provided each locomotive in that consist is matched to the same group. So if I click B, you'll notice here on the screen it says consist B, and since this is the lead unit, it actually has the full control of it, including from the function panel. If I had a second locomotive, and we've done a couple of videos on this, so be sure to go back and look at some of those for the consisting videos, and you'll see that we've done this for the Android to kind of show you some of the details of how this works. But it really is a very neat feature. It's very reliable, and it is, in my opinion, worth its weight in gold. Now this is just a quick overview of some of the new features built into the new Blunami app to help make running your trains a lot more fun and enjoyable, and less worry about trying to do CV math. So if you haven't tried out Blunami, first off, why are you taking so long? This is the way to go. And everybody has told me Blunami, they wish this has been coming along a lot sooner. I even had a very good friend of mine tell me once, he said, George, this is what DCC promised us. So we're really excited about the Blunami. This new Blunami app really is exciting. So I encourage you guys to go check it out. And like I said, if you're Android, you've already got all of these features built into the app, so you can go through and start using them right away. So guys, that's it for this time. Over the next few videos, over the next few weeks, we're going to start diving deeper into some of these features in the new app, so that way you get a full understanding of how all this stuff works. So really excited about it. We look forward to seeing it as it progresses. And guys, go out and get your Blunamis. We've got the new Blue 1100s coming very soon, so be sure to pre-order those through your retailer today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.